Awesome. Awesome
Welcome.
discussions.
Yeah.
I'm personally challenged,
Mm,
to pay close attention
yeah,
to some of these indicators of a
yeah,
transition.
yeah,
But it will be important to begin to, you know, grapple with the idea of why transitions are important.
yeah.
Because
Mm,
just before we're looking at what kind of transitions are
mm,
happening
mm.
around us, but why really are transitions important?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that if you don't know the purpose of a season, you can either abuse, misuse,
Hmm.
or in a way miss.
I love that. Can you repeat that
Yeah.
again?
If you
You
don't
don't
know
know the
the
purpose of a
purpose of a
season,
season, you can abuse the
abuse
season,
it,
misuse the season, or
or you
miss
can.
the opportunities within the season.
That's right.
So it's
So good.
essential to understand that transitions are one of the major like
Mm.
seasons that helps you prepare for new grounds.
Come on.
And
Come on.
the thing about it is this that with when you steward transitions well, you
Mm.
do well in the new
Mm.
grounds.
I love that.
And it's connected to why new grounds are also necessary because
Mm.
new grounds help you
Mm.
to see progress and growth.
Come on.
So transitions really let you know that you are stretching into new growth areas,
Mm.
new increase
New
areas,
boundaries. Yeah.
and new boundaries. So,
Yeah.
so it's a very good way of seeing growth and advancement in your life.
That's right.
There are things that God
Mm.
has for you,
Mm-hmm.
and there are dimensions of God you will not see in an old
Mm.
ground.
Okay.
You know,
Wow.
so
Wow.
probably in a season you knew him as El Shaddai, but God is calling you
Mm.
to a season where you know him as a
Maybe as
you know
your,
as a
yeah,
warrior. Like
yeah,
they knew him as
exactly.
El Shaddai,
Yeah,
providing
providing
manna,
manna.
but they never knew that he's also a man of
Exactly.
war. So
Yeah.
just before they entered the promised land, the
Mm.
angel of the the
And
Lord,
yeah.
the captain of the Lord's army
Lord
shows
host.
up and say,
Yeah.
I'm the captain of the Lord's
That's
army.
right.
You have known me as a provider of
Mm.
manna, but now
Mm.
I want you to know that
That's
I'm
right.
a person.
Mm.
I'm a captain of the Lord's army.
Come
We are
on.
here for war.
Yeah.
You know.
That's right.
So there's a dimension of God that you get to know in different
Mm.
seasons in life. Sometimes new grounds or transitions help you, increase
That's right.
your understanding and your
Yeah.
own engagement with
Revelation of
God,
God. Yeah.
revelation of God. And
Come
that's
on.
really very important. But this brings it to the point that sometimes you need to step into new grounds
Mm.
and steward transitions well in order to become a better and a bigger blessing to your world.
Come on. A bigger and a better
A bigger and
blessing.
a better blessing. So
Mm.
there's something about growth. So
Mm.
the essence of growth is not just for growth.
That's
We
right.
grow and we increase in order to be a bigger and a better blessing.
Come on. Come on.
So it's not like I just want to grow and know that I'm
Yeah.
just doing well. The reason why
Mm.
you want to do well is that God wants to flow more through you
Come
so
on.
that you can be a bigger
Bigger and
and
a
a better
better
blessing.
blessing. I
So
love that.
this is why transitions are necessary. This is why new grounds are necessary. You
Come
get to
on.
know God in new dimensions you never
Mm.
knew before.
That's
You get
right.
to experience your own advancement and
Come
growth
on.
in life.
Come
But you
on.
get to be able to be a bigger and a better
Better blessing.
blessing
Yeah.
to
Wow.
more people.
That's right.
And here's the thing: that's how we advance God's kingdom.
Mm. I
You
love
know,
that.
there's a way, in a way, our individual, like individually, as we are taking grounds or
Mm.
new grounds,
Yeah.
corporately,
Come
it's
on.
increasing our reach
Yeah. Yeah.
as a corporate entity
That's
for
right.
the kingdom. So
That's right.
when we talk about new grounds, we are talking
Mm.
about kingdom advancement,
Come on.
taking new territories, taking new grounds
Come on.
for God in wherever fields that God may
Find
show us.
ourselves. So good. So good. In the context of Joshua, we realize that he was a servant of Moses, but
Yeah.
it's a point in time where God calls him
Mm.
to strive for new grounds, and now
Mm.
he gets the opportunity to lead people
Yeah.
into possessing their new
Yeah.
grounds. I
Yeah.
mean, becoming a bigger blessing
Yeah.
beyond just being a servant to
Exactly.
Moses.
Exactly.
Yeah, it will be good to really look at how then do we steward transitions or what
Yeah, new
new
grounds.
grounds
Yeah,
exactly.
I think those are very
You know,
important, very important. And I think the book of Joshua serves as a good template, and it will
mm,
be good for us to unpack within our e-groups
yeah,
spaces
that's
some
right.
of these thoughts. And
That's
I
right.
think that the five things you see in the first few chapters of
Mm, the book of
Joshua that
Joshua. Yeah.
gives you insight into some necessary steps
Okay.
or things to really consider when you
Yeah.
are stepping into new
New
grounds.
grounds.
And one of the things you see just before the book of Joshua, the
Yeah.
last chapter in Deuteronomy 34,
Yeah.
the Bible makes a very interesting statement that the man of God, Moses laid hands on Joshua.
That's right.
And the Bible says that he was filled wisdom.
Wisdom, yeah.
And that caused the people to listen to him.
Yeah.
So you should, one of the fundamental things you realize in stepping to new ground is a place for wisdom.
That's right.
Divine wisdom. And it's important because when it comes to new grounds, it's more about stewarding God's presence.
Come on.
Because Joshua 3:5, the Lord tells them, you don't even know the ground that you are going. You know that I'm in transition.
Yeah.
But where I'm going, I don't know the details.
Idea.
And for me to really follow God's leadings, there's a place of divine wisdom.
Come on.
So when you are in transition, it's very important to tap into wisdom. Go after wisdom. And we're good to share in your spaces, like in our eGroup spaces, how do we tap into divine wisdom? What are some of the ways that we can grow in wisdom? That's important.
Yeah.
Then you see in chapter 1 of Joshua, I think verse 2 and verse 3, verse 1 to 3, God telling Joshua, my servant Moses is dead. And you need to arise. And that's important because the Lord wanted to let Joshua know that there's a closure of an old chapter.
Come on.
And there's an opening of a new chapter. Because sometimes what makes it difficult for most people in navigating transition is that they are locked in the past. And there's no proper closure to the past. So they are not able to steward the future.
That's right.
And there is that necessity to know that some things were good, some relationships were good, some provisions were good, some opportunities were good, but their seasons have closed. That season has closed, and sometimes you need to accept that reality that there is a closure of a season. And for most people, if you are not able to have proper closure, it makes transition into new grounds quite difficult. So God was trying to bring that to Joshua. Joshua, you can't continue mourning, for the past. You need to arise and apprehend the future. And maybe there's some of us tonight, we need to discuss this thing more in our eGroup space. What am I holding on to, which God is calling me to probably advance beyond that? Let's go and move forward. Yeah. Maybe that broken relationship. There's some relationship you have so much faith in, but didn't work. But you can't continue, crying over that. Maybe it's time to rise and step into new ground. Yeah. I think the third thing you see in same chapter 1, verse 8, verse 9, verse 11, and the last verse,
verse 18.
Verse 18, God was clear in repeating it consistently. Be strong and good, courageous. And I think taking new grounds requires strength and courage. As we go deeper in the book of Joshua, you see how important this is, because stepping into new grounds requires you discerning God's presence, but also requires you to follow through, follow God's presence. And sometimes it takes courage. It takes boldness, because there'll be ambiguity, because that you'll be living within the tension of what used to be and what is.
That's true.
And some of us may be stepping into that new ground. How am I going to get a supply? How am I going to work? Because some of us may be losing something that used to give us some income, and God is challenging you. Start a new business. Start a new place. How am I going to survive in that tension? And this is a place where it calls for strength.
That's right.
But it calls for courage. Because sometimes when you are stepping into new ground, not everyone will understand you. Others will oppose you. Circumstances may even actually challenge your convictions of faith. You need strength, you need courage to go through that one. Then you see this thing after chapter 1. You see this important other aspect that God calls them. That listen, you are going to step into the new ground, but you cannot go this way. You need to make sharp knives, circumcise the children of Israel again. And that's interesting. It talks about sanctification or consecration. You cannot possess new ground without consecration. But ultimately, our consecration allows us to host God's presence. It is in that hosting of God's presence that the ideas, the thoughts, the principles, the strategies, the innovations of the Lord is written on our minds and our heart. So that in the new ground, new things must happen.
That's right.
You are reinventing yourself. You are bringing new things. And consecration allows us to host God's presence, but so that we can also access into the thoughts of God, the wisdom of the Spirit, and also step boldly into new initiatives that God may be calling us for.
That's right.
So that's the other thing you need to know. How do I really build a lifestyle of consecration that allows me to host God's presence in order to allow God's wisdom, God's ideas, God's strategies for this new ground to flow through me.
That's right.
And I think the last one is in chapter 5, getting to the last chapter verse was, when Joshua was they've crossed the Jordan now.
Yeah.
And they were just looking at the new land that they are getting into.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Jericho.
That's right.
And just preparation to go against Jericho. This figure shows up. And Joshua goes there and says, Are you for me? Are you for us? Or are you against us?
Interesting question.
An interesting question. But more interesting was the answer. Exactly. He said, Neither. I'm either for you or against you. And I think that I think one fundamental issue you see here is this. When God shows up, he doesn't show up to take sides. He shows up to take over. And which is important because it frames, for us, it frames this whole idea of new grounds into a proper perspective.
That's right.
And new grounds is not about us. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about him.
Plans,
it's about what he wants to do. So Joshua, it's not like you conquering a place to get a settlement or get a name. It's about my promise, my goal, my purpose. That it outlives you. I started this journey long before you were born with Abraham and all those things, and it will go, it will continue when you are gone.
That's right.
And he says, Joshua, I came so that you know that it's not about you.
It's not about you.
It's about my purpose. So you rather choose to align with me. So that's the most important thing, that when it comes to new grounds, there's the need for alignment of hearts.
That's right.
Which really talks about the alignment of motives. Because sometimes we can step into new ground to prove a point.
Yeah.
Step into the new grounds, challenge for self-aggrandizement. Ultimately, as Christians, when we think about new grounds, it should be for one purpose.
That's right.
His kingdom purpose. Our motives should be right. Because God will not deliver into our hands the inheritance that he has for us if we don't align our motive, our hearts to it.
That's right.
And so in a nutshell, these 5 things are important. The need for wisdom, the necessity for closure of the past, the need for strength and courage, the necessity for consecration, and also the necessity of alignment of our motives. Ultimately, all these 5 things helps a person to steward God's presence. Be able to sense his presence, follow his presence, and really host his presence in order to break into new ground. So good. We need to chat.
Let's chat through these 5 different necessities or requirements for stewarding.
And more practically, how does that look like for you? What are some of your own personal experiences of this? And what can we learn from each other when we look at these 5 things from the book of Joshua?
So good.